John Lennon once said, life is what happens to you when you are busy making other plans. On today's case, Ms. Hart was on track to marry Mr. Livingston, but then a series of unfortunate events took place. She says the pandemic, the passing of Mr. Livingston's daughter, and his refusal to effectively deal with his grief all created a perfect storm of issues and a major rift between them. Mr. Livingston says he's willing to make the changes to save his relationship, but his efforts might be a case of too little, too late. Let's hear their case.
Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Starr presiding. Your Honor, this is the case of Hart versus Livingston.
Thank you very much. Ms. Hart, Mr. Livingston. Ms. Hart, you are here in court today because you say your partner is committed to everything in his life, but you admit the lines of communication have completely broken down, and today you are seeking answers.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Livingston, you say you want to save your relationship with Ms. Hart, but you need her to be more compassionate and to learn how to compromise.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so why don't you start, Ms. Hart? Why are we in court?
We are here today because I am beyond frustrated with Mr. Livingston because I should be Mrs. Livingston right now.
Uh-oh.
He has went back on our 3-year plan and he's completely let his career and his mentoring program get out of control. And I need to know what's going on because I'm completely shut out. And if I don't get any real answers today to get out of this limbo that we're in, I'm done.
All right, Mr. Livingston, tag, you're it. You heard what Ms. Hart said.
I love this woman. I want to start out there. I love this woman.
I like that. That starts us off
to
good.
the top of her head. We met at a gym, and you're not supposed to approach beautiful women. You're not supposed to approach beautiful women in the gym because they're doing their thing. It's kind of creepy. But so we interacted because we're the only black people at our gym. And so we naturally, that gravitational pull of being in a similar ethnic group pull us together, and we interacted, we hit it off well, but we were both respectively seeing someone, and respecting those boundaries, we kept it friendly until fortuitous time when we weren't seeing someone else, and so we
started dating pre-pandemic.
So in other words, you all were gym friends, and then when you all discovered that you were no longer otherwise encumbered or entangled, you said, let's see if the platonic relationship can turn into something romantic.
Yes.
Exactly.
Good. And obviously with the smiles that are on both of your faces, you have very fond memories of those early days, correct?
Yes.
That's very correct.
So pre-pandemic, that means, I know that you all are from Chicago, and that's where I live with my family, so I know all the gyms shut down in Chicago, which means you could not go to the gym during the pandemic. So how did you all maintain your relationship during the pandemic? Did you shelter in place together?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so something tells me that a lot of things happened during the pandemic. Why don't you catch me up, Ms. Hart?
I'm gonna let Miles tell you, but during that time, his daughter had passed away.
And I appreciate the fact that you are going to turn it on over to Mr. Livingston. Mr. Livingston, I read that in the case file that you lost your daughter during the pandemic. So many families were devastated that way. And sir, please, my heart goes out to you because that's wrong with the universe. That's just never supposed to happen that a parent is supposed to bury their child. So I can imagine that was difficult for you, sir.
Excuse me.
Take your time.
Sweets, my daughter and I were extremely close, Your Honor. I raised my daughter, thank you kindly. I raised my daughter from 6th grade forward. Her mom took a job that took her away, and I took full custody. I was at the parent-teacher conferences, the trips, everything. And so my daughter was everything. She became a teacher like me. She was a far superior teacher than I could ever be. She taught special ed. She was just amazing. She was very charitable. She worked at animal shelters. Even during the pandemic, she had her mask on. And she wasn't supposed to because of her heart condition. But still, she was like, Dad, I got to show up. I got to go. What you taught me. Sorry.
No, sir.
Diane was very helpful during that time because it was rough. It's still rough.
Yes, it is.
And that's one of the things I wish she could understand is that it's a lot to get up and go And one of the things that helps me get up and go is that I'm a teacher. And I can still be somewhat of a father, even though my daughter's no longer here physically, to these students who, some of them, are without fathers.
I can imagine, Ms. Hart, that was a very tough time. Am I correct?
Yes. Like while he's been grieving, and I understand his grief, he's stepped into, once everything's, like even before things start opening back up, it was small things. He start being, doing outside of the school things with the children. And I'm just like, okay. And
give me an example, because
But you knew that.
I understand the dynamic of the teacher. What has changed? That's what I want to get to.
because his daughter was so passionate about teaching, and now she's not here, and with him trying to cope with that loss, he just started, doing more and more things for these children. Like, okay, you got the parent-teacher conference, they got games, or they, need, something to do constructive to stay out of trouble on the weekends, so you're gonna step into that role. That's nice, but it just, it was little stuff.
Do you feel like you are getting the short shrift in the deal?
Yes, I do.
Give me an example of what you say is a violation of a boundary so that I can fully understand.
So as things were opening back up and, he wanted to spend more time with his students and his mentees and everything, so he would have them come to the house.
Nuh-uh.
We wake up, well, I wake up, and I'm going to look for him. I'm coming downstairs in my...
Unmentionables.
Yeah, and it's at least 5 of them in the house. In the kitchen, in the living room, just hanging out. We had set boundaries in place because they started to come by more often.
Without being announced, right?
So
Okay.
we had set up days and times that they could come without it being a problem.
Okay.
But 2 months ago, I'm coming downstairs in my,
Unmentionables.
yeah, and we go to sleep. Nobody's in the house, just us. We wake up, well, I wake up, and I'm going to look for him, and I'm hearing voices, and it's at least 5 of them in the house, in the kitchen, in the living room, just hanging out.
Mr. Livingston, Ms. Hart makes a completely valid
She
point.
does.
If you all live together, that's her home also, and you all have to establish what the boundaries are within your home. That's just it, and you all agree on the boundaries. What happened in that situation, sir?
I'm total agreement. I messed up there.
But this is not the first time.
I messed up there. And a lot of these kids are at risk.
You keep escalating. It's getting worse and worse. You blew off our date. You didn't say anything. I'm upstairs getting dressed, and his phone rings, like it always does, and he immediately leaves. No, hey, babe, I gotta step out for a minute. So I'm thinking maybe he went to go get gas, so I'm calling him. I called you at least 5 times.
In that particular incident, Your Honor, a student was displaced, had to leave his respective home. It got kind of ugly there with the parental figures, and he needed somewhere to go. He wanted to go to a relative's house, and he called me.
Okay.
And you
And I
could have
went-
just said that instead of running out the door.
But I was in the moment, and I was in the moment, and I had to go, and I'm always there for you. I will always
Mr.
be there for you.
Livingston, stop for 1 second. You are rightfully grieving the loss of your child. But what boundaries are you putting in place so that you don't unduly burden your family that's still here, meaning Ms. Hart, with that loss while you're dealing with it, sir?
It's an excellent question, Your Honor. I really believe I've done, it's went in reverse by me trying to give distance, or by me trying to throw into my vocation, going to the gym and my creative ventures.
But you're
I've
shutting
tried
me
to-
out now.
I've tried, and that wasn't my intent.
What happened
But-
to y'all going to the gym? Y'all don't go to the gym together?
Okay, so I don't go to the gym anymore with him. I show up to the gym, and it's a kid's mother doing what?
What was she doing, Ms. Hart?
He likes to flex his muscles.
Your Honor, it's not that. It's these women.
But she shouldn't have been touching your arm.
Oh, wait. We didn't even get to the touching. If you'd like your case to be heard on divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at divorcecourt.com. Missed a show? Watch full episodes on our streaming platforms and follow us on social media for exclusive content. The gym's supposed to be y'all's special place. Now, you cannot tell me that you crossed that boundary.
During the pandemic, I picked up weight.
Everybody did.
Everybody
They called it
did.
the
And
pandemic 15.
yeah.
And I'm not ashamed to say, when sweets passed, I drank excessively.
Okay. You tried to self-medicate.
I did. Mm-hmm. And I've been sober for the last couple of years now.
Good for you.
Thank you. And part of that and part of my therapy is I go to the gym quite often, sometimes
I
twice a
completely
day.
get that.
So it's not necessarily these kids. They've only been there a couple of times. I wouldn't do
Oh
like
my
that.
gosh, it doesn't matter if they've only been there a couple of times because you know what the biggest problem is now when the kids, it's also the kids' mothers.
Okay.
So I'm a mother and I met you at a gym and now I show up to the gym and it's a kid's mother doing what?
What was she doing, Miss Hart?
He likes to flex his muscles and
Arnold
they were-
Schwarzenegger style? Like Arnold Schwarzenegger style?
Oh my God.
The gun?
You
What is
like
this
that?
gun show? I
You
know
like
what
that?
I didn't say I didn't like it.
Check your inbox. There's
I didn't-
videos in the inbox out of it. She likes that. Don't,
Oh,
I
wait a
didn't
minute,
say I
Mr.
didn't.
Livingston, let me be very clear. Miss Hart is not saying there's anything wrong with you, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and her. She 100% likes the Terminator. That works for her. What she doesn't like is for the Terminator to be showing up at other places with other women to enjoy. Am I correct, Miss Hart?
Correct.
Your Honor, it's not that. It's these women.
But she shouldn't have been touching your arm.
Oh, wait. We didn't even get to the touching. So the flexing was one thing, but there was some
Yeah, she's
inappropriate touching.
giggly, she touched his arm.
This happens all the time. This happens at work.
Do you
Someone
know this
just
happened
go,
last
"Hold on,"
night?
Someone just.
Nuh-uh.
It did. And they do that. The women do. Like, I had on a T-shirt.
Excuse me, I might need to take a recess and call my husband who likes to go to the gym. Because if I find that there's a bunch of women rolling up and touching his arms, we
They
gonna have
just
a
roll-
problem.
we could be like in, like last night she's speaking about. I was standing there and I went to get her a glass of wine, and the women turned and looked because I had a T-shirt on, and I'm not ashamed to say I'm buff. I put the work in.
Correct.
And so she's like, oh, here we go. I said, nothing happened. No one did any touching.
Wait, why did you say,
No,
here we go again?
Because this is not an isolated incident. Even when I showed up to his school, you know, to link up with him after his parent-teacher conferences, it was another, I want to say this was the same mother that was in there giggling and touching your arm.
You know what I'm listening to is inadvertent disrespect. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt with that. But a lack of communication is very clear in this. And I think one of the reasons why is because, if I may be so bold, Mr. Livingston, I'm not sure that you've effectively dealt with the loss of your child and how that has manifested itself with you. But I take this so seriously, relationships and wonderful, kind people like you. I really wanted to get the benefit of somebody else's expertise. So I asked one of my team of experts to join me to help you, if that's all right.
That'd be fine.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
Robert, would you please ask Dr. James Francis to join us, please?
Sure.
Thank you. Everybody does not grieve the same way. And that's why I wanted to ask Dr. Francis to come in. Dr. Francis, welcome to the courtroom. Sir, tell me a little bit about your background for the benefit of our plaintiff and defendant.
Thank you, Judge Starr. Sir, first of all, I honor your story and I honor what you've been through.
Thank you.
But I'm a licensed mental health clinical clinician. I serve adults, individuals, and couples, and I'd like to help because one of my specialties is grief, as well as anxiety, depression, and some addiction. And so just from hearing what you guys have been going through, I'd like to offer any help that I can.
Dr. Francis, what is manifesting itself? How's grief manifesting itself with Mr. Livingston as far as you can tell?
So from what I've observed, there seems to be some outlets that you're looking for. You mentioned alcohol. And even looking towards the children that you work with, I mean, that's amazing work that you're doing. However, I think that the focus is on building a community, but I think the community you need is more of your peers and more of the people who have been through what you've been through.
And so leaning into the community with Ms. Hart means bringing her into his grieving process. Am I correct?
Absolutely.
And Ms. Hart, I think that has been the point that you have felt shut out of this. Am I correct?
Yes. It was recently his daughter's birthday, and I really felt it that at that point in time, like, you won't let me help you. You won't let me be there the way that I was there when she passed away. You are shutting me out now.
Mr. Livingston, to what do you attribute the shutdown?
I have no, I probably did. I more than likely did, because it's, for something that was the best day of my life, it's the worst.
I understand.
Excuse me. It's the worst.
Absolutely, sir.
So I don't want to apologize. I don't want to bring you into that.
Yeah,
That's
but
the woman
you
that
haven't, you
that's the
haven't
woman you
cried
love.
in so long in front of me, and you used to cry in front of me, and now you just
Because
are
I don't
you
want you to
afraid?
see that. Because I don't want you to see that. I got to stand up, and I got to stand up. It's not just me. It's for my sweets. It's for you. It's for my family. It's being this black man. I got to stand up. I got to get up and go. Life is still here.
And I
I'm
wanna
still
support
here.
you.
So I gotta go. And I don't want you to see me like that. I want you to see me getting up. And I like the fact that you can see me from being here, no diss to anybody, but from being here to now here. The fact that I can go, and I won Teacher of the Year last year. The fact that I can continue to provide and protect and be this man that I'm supposed to be this black man I'm supposed to be. So no, I probably will go outside to the car and cry, or go in the bathroom and cry, because I don't want you to see that. I don't want you to bring you into that. And that might be wrong, but that's just the way I feel about it, or have felt about it.
She loves you more when you open your heart. Every time your heart opens, you put another little open space for her to fill. So giving her the opportunity to fill it is what's going to make the relationship grow.
I understand that. I don't want to do this life without you. You're the best thing that's happened to me since everything otherwise adversely has happened to me. So I don't want to do it without you. So I'll do whatever I do to improve counseling, whatever it is, because I don't want you to be anywhere else but with me.
Dr. Francis, if this is a couple that's willing to work to reestablish that bond, what can you offer them, sir?
I'd love to work with you guys. I can help with accountability, help you establish boundaries, but also help you to carry them out. But also how to learn to be vulnerable with each other. I think that is ultimately what you guys need, and I would love to serve. And so I'll provide some couples counseling and maybe even some individual counseling if that will help.
Thank you. Appreciate
Absolutely.
that.
I am rooting for the two of you to succeed. With Dr. Francis's help, I think that you will succeed because you come with open hearts. And any of those spaces, just let the other person fill it. It's the best feeling in the world to have your heart filled with love. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Francis. The ability to make yourself vulnerable in a relationship is something that I think is underestimated for a lot of people.
I don't know if it's generational or it's because you're a male. You learn something new every day, and I grew up where let them grieve, let them be them, you don't know what they're going through. And it means leave them alone.
Right.
And that's not really the right way to do it.
Not at all. Allowing yourself to grieve openly is the first stage in having that wound start to heal. He's never going to get over the loss of his child.
Of course not.
You don't get over it, you get through it. And I think he needs his partner to help him.
Absolutely, it has to be a team effort.
Made in Georgia.